Have you ever heard of someone just disappearing? No warning, no struggle, no goodbye. One moment they're here, and the next, it's like they never existed. In 2008, an 18-year-old named Joshua Maddux said he was going for a walk near his home in Colorado. He was happy, quiet, just a normal day. But he never came back. For years, no one knew what happened to him. And when they finally found his body, in a place no one could explain, the truth that came with it was something no one was ready for. Joshua Maddux lived in the quiet town of Woodland Park, Colorado. Population? Just over 7,000. The kind of place where everyone knows your name. Josh was different in a good way. He played guitar, wrote music, loved hiking, a gentle soul, full of life, and still grieving the death of his brother Zachary, who had taken his own life 2 years prior. On May 8, 2008, Josh told his sister he was heading out for a walk. That was nothing unusual. He'd often go out to clear his head. But this time, he didn't come back. Days passed, then weeks. No activity on his phone, no social media, no sightings. His family was devastated, but strangely, the police didn't suspect foul play. They suggested maybe he'd just run away. Start over, start fresh. But those who knew him said no way. Josh had plans, a future. He'd just been accepted to college. But after a few months, the town forgot. Even the flyers stopped going up. It was like Josh had never existed. 7 years later, in 2015, a man named Chuck Murphy was demolishing a cabin he owned in the woods, just a few blocks from the Maddux home. It had been in his family for decades, but nobody had lived there for years. He'd left it locked, abandoned, and forgotten. As workers tore down the brick chimney, they suddenly stopped. Inside was a body. It was wedged tightly in the flue, upside down. The body was mummified from years of exposure to air and cold. And when authorities pulled it out, dental records confirmed the unthinkable. It was Joshua Maddux. Here's where it gets truly disturbing. Josh's body showed no signs of trauma, no broken bones, no bullet wounds, no cuts, bruises, nothing. He wasn't tied, wasn't bound, he was just stuck, naked, with his clothes folded neatly inside the cabin, right next to the fireplace. And remember, the cabin was locked from the outside. There was no way in through the chimney from above. It was too narrow, lined with metal grates and wire mesh. And even if someone had tried, he wouldn't have survived the fall. So how did he get in there? The official ruling? Accidental death. They claimed Josh had voluntarily climbed down the chimney, maybe on a dare or while hallucinating, but that doesn't add up. Josh was not under the influence. He had no history of drug use, and even if he had gotten in himself, how did he fold his clothes, walk outside, climb the roof, and squeeze in head first into a vertical shaft with steel rebar and mesh? It's almost physically impossible, and that's when people started looking at Andy. Andy was a childhood friend of Josh's, a troubled guy, known for erratic behavior. Some said he had schizophrenia. Others claimed he confessed to killing someone and stuffing them in a chimney. Of course, nobody believed him. He'd rant and rave, talk to himself. At one point, Andy even moved away to New Mexico and got arrested for stabbing a woman to death. When questioned about Josh, Andy said, "I put a body in a chimney once." Then he laughed. Wait, did I say that out loud? But here's the worst part. He was never charged. There wasn't enough physical evidence. The cabin was too old, too contaminated, and Josh's body had deteriorated beyond forensics. The case remains technically closed, ruled an accident, but almost no one in Woodland Park believes that. The house had stood, silently, for 7 years while Josh's body was hidden inside. People walked past it every day. It was right there, in the chimney, just feet away from where he used to live. The town had moved on, while he was buried in bricks. To this day, No one knows how Joshua Maddux ended up in that chimney. But someone does. And they've never said a word. Some disappearances leave behind questions that never get answered. But every now and then, the truth surfaces, and it's worse than anyone imagined. If you want to hear more stories like this, strange, chilling, and all too real, make sure to subscribe. Because these aren't just stories. They're warnings.